Hello, this is @TeachSmith, and today I'm doing a bit of a different video to celebrate 250 subscribers. It should be my first collaboration, my first time showing my face on webcam properly, and the first time talking about my love of reading. So I'm talking about 5 books from 5 different genres that really demonstrate my love of reading and why I enjoy books and reading so much. So firstly, I'm going to start with a young adult fiction book, and that is Cuckoo Song by Frances Hardinge. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But essentially, Cuckoo Song is an excellent debut novel by Frances Hardinge, and it's quite dark, it's quite gothic, it's almost dystopian in elements of the book. Apologies, by the way, if you can hear a little bit of heavy breathing. I've got the little puppy sleeping on my lap. So, Cuckoo Song. When Tris wakes up after an accident, she knows that something is very wrong. She is insatiably hungry, she keeps waking up with leaves in her hair, and her sister seems terrified of her. When it all gets too much and she starts to cry, her tears are like cobwebs. Soon Tris discovers what had happened to her is more strange and terrible than she can ever have imagined, and that she is quite literally not herself. In a quest to find the truth, she must travel into the terrifying underbelly of the city to meet a twisted architect who has dark designs on her family before it's too late. I'm a big fan of this author. Another book by her is The Lie Tree. It's a very small picture of it there. But The Lie Tree is another book that I really enjoy. I like she's got quite a dark, gothic style. I think again will appeal to teenagers, but again to adults as well. And if you're someone who is interested in young adult fiction and you like gothic works, then I would recommend this book. My second choice is 1984 by George Orwell. I'm a particular fan, I must say, of this cover. I'm a bit of a bibliophile, so essentially someone who loves books, and I particularly enjoy this design. Okay, so what's 1984? So 1984 is a dystopia, a future society that is much worse than our own, that's really commenting on something about our society, what's wrong with our society, or a thing that started that could get much worse in the future. And essentially, in this book, wrongthink or the thought crime has become a serious crime. Basically, everyone's thoughts are controlled, thinking is controlled, speech is controlled. You must speak in doublespeak, as in you think one thing and you say another in order to avoid the thought police. Okay, it's a really chilling novel. My third book is a childhood favourite of mine, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Okay, I love A Wizard of Earthsea so much. I had a paperback copy as a child that I read so much that it literally fell to bits. So on the front cover there is the main character who starts life as a very lowly goat herd, but it's quickly discovered that he has incredibly natural magical powers, and he is sent to essentially a kind of wizard university, and he unleashes a terrible demon on the world, and he has to spend his life trying to send that demon away or vanquish that demon. If you're noticing some similarities to Harry Potter, I'd agree. Just remember, this was written many decades, or not many decades, but a long time before this book. Okay, this was written a long time before then. This is the original. Okay, I'm really lucky to have the folio edition. This one is probably my favourite. Main character's encounter with a dragon. My fantasy entry, I should say, A Wizard of Earthsea. So my next book is a horror book, and again I might get a bit of stick for it being another perhaps conventional entry along with 1984, but it is Stephen King, The Shining. Now, whoa, you can see my reflection on my webcam there. Now, why Stephen King's The Shining? I have a folio edition of this because, again, I was very lucky to be given it. Again, it's probably the most luxurious things I have, really, because I love books so much. A classic horror story about a young family who have to look after a hotel during the winter when it's closed, and then the man of the house, the man of the family, who's a recovering alcoholic, gradually goes insane. What's real? What's not? Are there ghosts? Are there not ghosts? How many ghosts are there? How much of it is the guy's own mind? It's fantastic. Fantastic film as well. Though interestingly, Stephen King doesn't like Stanley Kubrick's version of the film. He made his own version, and it's awful, by the way. Stephen King, I love you. You're one of my favourite authors, but you're not a filmmaker. Okay, you're a fantastic novelist, but you're not a filmmaker. Stanley Kubrick's version is so much better. So moving on to my final entry, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's just really beautiful, his writing. I know that he wasn't exactly a saint in his lifetime, Hemingway, but he's such an incredible writer. He's one of my favourite authors, along with King and Orwell. You know, a lot of these people are my favourite authors. Ursula K. Le Guin, Francis Harding. But Hemingway, his style of writing is just fantastic. This is set in the Spanish Civil War, all the different factions fighting against each other, and it's about a volunteer in the Spanish Civil War who knows about explosives. And I just want to read a section for you about the hideout that they're in, and that the sensory description is what's so powerful, I think. He's so evocative, he's so sensual, Hemingway, and not in that sense, so it can be, but more in terms of his use of language to describe what people can smell, taste, hear, etc. For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. Robert Jordan pushed aside the saddle blanket that hung over the mouth of the cave, and stepping out, took a deep breath of the cold night air. The mist had cleared away, and the stars were out. There was no wind, and outside now of the warm air of the cave, heavy with smoke of both tobacco and charcoal, with the odour of cooked rice and meat, saffron, pimientos, and oil, the tarry, wine-spilled smell of the big skin hung beside the door, hung by the neck, and the forelegs extended, wine drawn from a plug fitted in one leg, wine that spilled a little on the earth of the floor, settling the dust smell. Out now from the odours of different herbs, whose names he did not know, that hung in bunches from the ceiling, with long ropes of garlic, away now from the copper penny, red wine and garlic, horse sweat and man sweat dried in the clothing, acrid and grey the man sweat, sweet and sickly the dried brushed off lather of horse sweat. Of the men at the table, Robert Jordan breathed deeply of the clear night air of the mountains, that smelled of the pines and of the dew on the grass in the meadow by the stream. Dew had fallen heavily since the wind had dropped, but as he stood there, he thought there would be frost by morning. As he stood breathing deep and then listening to the night, he heard first firing far away, then he heard an owl cry in the timber below, where the horse corral was slung. Then inside the cave he could hear the gypsy starting to sing, and the soft chording of a guitar. So that's what I mean about him really using the senses, really using smells in such an incredible way, and all those different smells that mix together in the night, the cold air, the herbs, the spices, the garlic, the wine, the earth itself. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.